Find the error in the following code. Modify to make it correct. Look at the code properly. So if you are looking at it is a simple module where you have used one initial block. And you note one initial block executes only once starting at simulation time t is equal to 0. But in this one, a clock 1 is going to be initialized, clock is initialized, clock 2 is initialized. Both are initialized to 0. That means you are going to make it as clock 0 and next clock is 2. Oh, sorry. Next clock 2 is equal to 0. Clock 2 is equal to 0. It is initialized like this. Next, what happens here? It is initial forever and one more forever. So what you expect is you expect there will be two clocks. This clock first one has to be generating a clock with one time period. So if it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this, and if you are going for the second clock, clock 2 is having the duration of 2. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 like this. We expect to generate two clocks, one with duration, one with time period as 2 nanoseconds and the other with 4 nanoseconds, because time period is nothing but one complete cycle. Okay, that is t. So is it possible to generate from this loop? We want to generate two clocks, but it never generate two clocks. Okay, because generally initial block will execute only once, and in that initial block if you write forever loop, okay, it's executing this one itself. You know that one, in always or in initial block all the statements are executed sequentially. Is it clear? That's why only they are called as procedural blocks. Always and initial are called as procedural blocks where the statements within them are executing sequentially. So if after these two statements, next statement is coming across the forever. Forever means forever after one clock cycle, clock is equal to not clock. It will be stayed over here itself. It never encounter the next forever loop. It is forever, that means infinite time at the stays at that place only. It never coming into the next statement. So if you are using a forever, you should not write any code after forever. That forever must be the last statement in the initial block if you are going to use. Okay, so this is a disadvantage. But if you want to generate two clocks, how do you generate? So then you are going to use two initial blocks. This is initial block, and where you are going to make it as clock equal to 0 and next forever. Okay, and this is second initial block, and clock 2 is equal to 0, and you are writing the same forever statement hash 2 here with hash 1. So you will write the statements in separate initial blocks, because initial blocks can execute concurrently. Any number of initial blocks you can use in your program, all will be executed concurrently. So all starts at time 0, and now you are able to generate the two clocks. Okay, so you can make it like this. Otherwise you can also use fork join statements. By using fork join statement also you can get the same situation. You can get the two clocks, but till now we have not discussed about the fork join statement. Okay, uh, very soon we will start this fork join statement, and by that time again I will discuss about this clock generation. Okay, the same problem I will discuss at that time. Next, look at this. For the given module, find the value of count when the data input is this one and when the data input is this one. Explain what function is implemented by the module. Okay, first identify what is the function it is going to implement, and later if the given input is this one or this one, okay, what can be your output, you can check it. So first thing is you must able to identify the function, what function it is going to implement. Then if the input is this one, according to that function you can easily specify the output. So look at carefully what happens. This is parameterized module where you are doing width has been parameterized. Okay, whenever you are calling this module, you can make the width can be 8, 16, 24 or whatever the value you can give, that will become parameterized. Okay, so for us, we assume that was width is going to be 8. Width is 8. Okay, so now the data size is going to be width minus 1. That means 7 down to 0 is data in. The data is going to be of input and that is of 7 down to 0. Okay, and next that means data is a 7-bit vector. 7-bit vector. Next, registers. You are using count also. Count is also of same type, width minus 1. Okay, so you are making output is going to be count. This is input and output is count. Count is also of same type. Okay, 8 bits. Next, index and temp registers are also of same nature. So you are going with width minus 1 down to 0 of count, data, and index temp are going to be local variables where you are declaring it as reg. Okay, so index and temp are not actual outside inputs. Okay, they are internal wires. Now we will see what is the functionality of this. Always set posits or negates reset. That means you are going with a sequential circuit and that has asynchronous reset input. From this you can say it is asynchronous reset. Now if reset is active, that means if reset is equal to 0. Now what are the inputs now? Reset and load and next index depending on index value. Because in the conditions what you are going with, they will become they will become inputs. Okay, so they will become inputs for our function. Next, output is, you can say count as well as temp. These are going to be two outputs for us. Okay, output and these are inputs. So if reset is 0, since it is asynchronous, okay, irrespective of load, irrespective of index, your count is equal to count will be equal to 0. That means all 8 zeros you will get. That all 8 zeros you can write it as, okay, simply we can write 0. So that indicates your count is equal to all zeros. How many number of bits it has? All the number of bits will be filled with zeros. Last class we have seen this notation. And temp is having some previous value. Don't bother about this one right now. Okay, next, if load is, assume that one reset is not active. If reset is active, this will be executed. If reset is not active, else it is coming to start over here. If load is equal to active, that means if reset 1 and load is active, load is equal to 1, then the temp is going to be loaded with data. Okay, so we don't bother about the value at reset, temp value. So data is loaded into temp register. Else, okay, so your count we are not interested. Count has some previous value and index is also not interested. So whenever reset is 1 and load is not active, then we are concentrating on index. If index is equal to 0 and first statement, this is for loop, starts with 0 and end till index will become equal to width. Whenever index equal to width, it will come out according to the condition. Okay, so width is 8. So this goes from 0 to 7. This for loop executes from 0 to 7. So from 0, 1, 2, 3, like this you have to write. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in this way you can write. So whenever load is not active and reset is not active. Then for index value, count is equal to count plus temp 0. So initially you made it as count is equal to 0. It is better to initialize count equal to 0. It has not given, but let us assume count is 0. So 0 plus temp of 0. Temp of 0 is nothing but data of 0. Okay, so this value is going into the count. Next, temp is going to be shifted by, okay, shifted right by 1. So temp shifted right by 1 means it is shifted right by 1 bit. Now previously if data is going to be 7 down to 0, now this will be shifted as 0 comma data comma 7 down to 1. Okay, if shifted by 1, which indicates this will become 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, and this will be filled with 0. So that means temp of 0 is now referring to data of 1. Temp of 0 is now referring to data of 1. After one clock cycle, temp of 0 will refer to data of 2. Next, data of 3. Like this. This shifting, what it is making is, you are going to refer temp of 0. So when index is equal to 0, this temp of 0 will become data 0. And when index is equal to 1, it will become data of 1. When index is equal to 2, it becomes data of 2, like this. When index is 7, it becomes data of 7. So simply you are going to add the number of ones present in this. Number of ones present in this one. Because this is a register, it may hold either 0 or 1. If it is having 0, it doesn't change any sum. So even if you are adding 0, it doesn't make any difference. But if your input is 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0, after adding all the things, what you are going to get is 4. 4 means the number of ones. Because zeros addition, it doesn't give any importance. So all the number of, how many number of ones are present in your circuit, that you are going to get. So for, if you are giving input as this one, then number of ones are 4. If you are giving this input, then 1 2 3 4 5 is going to be the answer. Are you understood? So this is the code which is used to generate, which is used to find out how many number of ones are present in the given input. That means in the given data. That's you are going to get. Next. So this is the answer. This design will count the number of bits set in a register. That means number of ones present in a register. So what is the disadvantage of this one? Okay, if you are writing this code, so let us assume now the width is going to be overwritten by 64, and you have given the data like this, all zeros, okay, except 1 1 0. This is 0th position and it is first position, second position, this is 63rd position. All positions are going to be zeros except 1 and 2 positions. Okay, now the data input is this much. So during the first clock cycle you will check 0, and second clock cycle you will check data of 1, third clock cycle data of 2, and from fourth clock cycle onwards always there are zeros only. Okay, unnecessarily you are wasting 60 more cycles, okay, to get the final output, isn't it or not? So how to overcome this situation? How to overcome this situation means, you are going to check about, you are going to use a reduction or operator. Reduction or reduction you are going to use. If you use or reduction, what or reduction will say, it is going to add all the bits in the register and whether it is equal to 1 or 0. That means if it is not 0, it will give 1. Okay, if it has 4 in 4 ones or 50 ones or 61 ones, okay, it will give 1. If at least one of the bit is 1, then the R reduction will give 1. If all others are going to be zeros, then definitely you will get the 0 outputs. Okay, why you are going to check this one? After every shift, okay, look at this one, this statement, after every shift, okay, you are going to get, first initially it was at 110. Okay, these are all zeros. So after second cycle you are going to get, this 0 is going to be shifted over here, this one and this one. Are you going to get this situation or not? Okay, and next cycle you are going to shift this one and it will go out and one more 0 is inserted. And next, after these cycles, 4 cycles, you are going to get all zeros only. No ones is going to be present because you already counted these ones. Already counted the ones. So at this point, your R reduction will give 0. So you can come out of the loop then. Okay, that condition you can write to simplify this program. Okay, so look at this for loop, and what we have written is this one. This is called as R reduction. Temp is used with R reduction. Before that one, the symbol is R symbol. So Ring of all the bits of temp is going to be done, and if it is not 0, it will always give the true value. If it is 0, it always gives, if all the bits are 0, then it will give the 0. So this is the condition you are going to get, true or false. Okay, this is 1 if any one of the bit is 1. If at least one of the bit is 1, this will be true. Otherwise, this will be false. Okay, so you can skip. After that, you are coming out. Your index will be incremented. Once this condition is becoming 0, then it will come out. Okay. Generally, what you are writing instead of this one, you are writing it as if I is going to be less than, okay, width. You are writing this condition. Okay, until this condition true, the for loop is going to be executing. Instead of this condition, now you are writing this or condition. So only for the example you have taken, only for first 4 cycles it will execute, and it will give the result after 4 clock cycles. That is the advantage you will get. But what is the disadvantage of this code? It has disadvantage also. Previous disadvantage we have discussed for the previous code, but that has one advantage also that we will see. Okay, so here how many times the for loop is going to be iterating? Is it depends on data or not? If you are looking at this problem, okay, the for loop is going to be the number of times for loop execute. Is it depends on data or not? It definitely depends on data. So whenever the iterations either are for loop or do while loop or while loop, any loops, okay, if the loop iterations are depends on data, they are not synthesizable. That code is not synthesizable. If you want to make the code to be synthesizable, then iterations must be independent of data. Very, very important. Iterations of the loop should be independent of data if you want to make it a synthesizable code. So this code is not synthesizable. Even with respect to simulation, it is fast. But with respect to simulation, this code is not synthesizable. So for synthesis purpose, you must prefer the previous code, because in previous code, it directly depends on width value. Width value doesn't depend on internal data. So if the width is going to be 8, always irrespective of data input what you are supplying, it iterates for 8 cycles. Okay, that's the advantage. So previous one is used for the synthesis and this one is used for the testing. This type of things are used for the testing, where you are going to check the condition and where you are going to get the verification properly. For verification purpose, you can use this type of loops. If you want to design the circuits, you must use the previous loops. For design, code must be synthesizable. For verification, code need not be synthesizable. Remember it. Okay. For verification purpose, okay, code need not be synthesizable, because you are going to verify a design that is already synthesized. It is readily available. You are going to check it. So for that purpose, the test bench should not be synthesized. Okay, so in case of test bench you can use this one, whereas if you want to design a circuit, then previous is better. Next, so similarly, always the loops are mainly used for testing purpose. Okay, so you can use this loop where if you want to run number of tests. So let us assume you are going to run the number of tests by 1000 times. Okay, so the test over here, whatever the statements you are writing, so these has to be executed for 1000 times. So then you are making it as max outer is going to be something as 100 and max inner is going to be 10. 100 into 10, it becomes 1000. Or you can make it as 1000, 10, here you can make it as 100. So total is equal to 1000 whenever you are calling it. So while loop like this, okay, nested while loops are going to be used to generate the test vectors for many runs. Okay, for giving the test vectors to the DUT, if you want to give it for so many number of times, you can go for the nested loops. Okay, so here total number of count is 123 into 255 is the number of runs this code. The code is runs by this many number of times. Okay. Next, what is the difference between break and continue statement? What is the difference between break and continue statement? These break and continue statements are mainly used with loops. Break and continue statements are mainly used with loops. So, if you want to continue, let us assume you are doing a program where you have used a loop that is running for 100 times. If any error is occurring, then you can able to predict that one, you must able to come out. Okay, otherwise some combination is not going to be existing if that combination is applied by the input. That means the user applied that input combination, but that input combination is not suitable for our design under test. So by that time you should skip that one. You should skip that iteration and you must continue with next input. So there are two possibilities. Either you may be entirely coming out of that loop, otherwise you may be skipping that particular iteration and you are continuing with the next iteration. So for those purpose you are doing the break and continue. So as the name indicates, continue means it simply come out of current iteration and it's continue with the next iteration. Where break is entirely coming out of that loop. Entirely coming out of that loop. Continue means it simply suspends the current iteration and it continues the loop with next iteration. Okay, this is one example. So let us assume here we are going with memory of 8 locations. So a memory with 8 locations, each location is going to be having a 4-bit data. So we are concentrating on memory with 8 locations. And I want to read this memory. So memory locate, that is data present in this one, is present in this memdata.txt and it has been read into mem. So memory is filled from this text data using this read memory in hexadecimal format. So now this memory has 8 locations and each location has 4-bit data. So those 4-bit data are going to be available. These are the locations, let us assume, and there are 4-bit data available. So what I want to do is, I don't want to read this fourth location, I don't want to read the fourth and sixth locations. Fourth and sixth words I don't want to read. Fourth and sixth words. Fourth and sixth words is nothing but, since you are starting from 0, fourth word is third and sixth word is 5. Okay, so fourth word and sixth words you don't want to read, you should continue with some other things. That means next word. So for that purpose, for each mem of I, so first it will start from I is equal to 0 and it will continue till I is equal to 7. If mem of 0, that mem of 0 means I of 0, first iteration. For each means always for each loop starts from index value starting from low to high. So low value is 0 and high value is 7. So the I is going to be starting from 0 to 7. If for the first iteration I is equal to 0, so this statement doesn't execute. Okay, else if is it 7, no, this is also not executing. So simply you are displaying that memory location. Okay, you are displaying the 0th memory location. Next, first memory location, that is also displayed. First memory location is displayed. Next, second memory location, that means I is equal to 2. 0th memory location, first memory location, second memory location. that is also displayed. Okay, next third memory location, I is equal to 3. I is equal to, for example, whenever I becomes 3, that means fourth location in your memory, but it is specified with I is equal to 3 as it is starting from 0. So that one is not displayed. That one is not displayed because whenever I is equal to 3, this statement is coming true. So whenever it comes true, whenever this statement is true, because it is OR operation, I is equal to 3 or I is equal to 5, at least one of them is 1, the condition will become 1 according to OR operation. So I is equal to 3 is okay. Whenever I is equal to 3, what it is executing? Continue. So it skips this current iteration, so it directly coming out of this loop and it's go for the next iteration. So I is equal to 3, that means fourth word is not read by the condition. So this is not read. You have not displayed. You have displayed only 0, 1, 2 till. Next, I becomes 4 now. I is 4. This condition is wrong. This condition is wrong. So it won't execute. Next, else if. Is it I is equal to 4? No. Okay. So next, else. I is equal to 4. You are displaying it. Okay. 4 is displayed. Similarly, 5 won't display. And 6 display. And 7th, as soon as it comes to 7th, it is break. It will come out of entire loop. Otherwise, you can also write whenever I is equal to 1, you want to break. So whenever I is equal to 1, you will come out of. Okay. So simply break is nothing but coming entirely out of that loop. You are stopping those iterations and you don't go for that loop. You will come out of that loop. Okay. If continue you are using, just simply suspending the current iteration and it will go for the next iteration. That means it continues in the loop only, but current iteration will be suspended. So look at this program. Understand this program. Okay. What are the values of temp register? That means this one, temp register, count and loop count. For these variables, what are their values after the delay of 10 nanoseconds, 50 nanoseconds, 70 nanoseconds, 80 and 100 nanoseconds? So what are their values that you are going to specify? Okay. Understand, identify them. Look at the program carefully and try to understand. The program is similar to the previous one only. Here also we have used the shifting only. Okay. So temp register. This is a test bench. All are going to be internal variables. For example, temp register given as 8x. So all the bits of temp register are going to be x. Loop count is made it as 0. Count is also made it as 0. Initialized count and loop count with zeros and temp register with all x. While temp register. Okay, so you know the while condition. If this condition is true, then the following statements are going to be executed. So whenever temp register is having all x, will it becomes true or false? So if the temp register has all the x's, then it will be treated as false. So it never be equal to 1. It never be equal to 1. So if at least one of the bit is 1, then it will be treated as 1. True. That is this condition. So while condition whatever you are writing, that will be giving either false or true. Okay. It will be true if the temp register value is equal to 1 or more than 1. 1 or more than 1. That means it may be 101 xxxx 1 xxx. Okay. So like this, if at least one of the bit is going to be 1, that means system understands that one. It has some specified value and that will be greater than 1. Whereas if all are going to be bits x, then it will be treated as 0, so the condition fails. So this condition fails for the given temp value. Temp is given as all x, so it never entered its loop. Whenever it never entered this loop, this display statement, okay, and these statements will not execute. So simply what are the values you are going to get? Temp register is going to be again 8x, okay, 8bx, and count is 0, loop count is 0. If temp register has at least one of the bit is 1, then the loop may iterate. Okay. So after 10 nanoseconds, 50 nanoseconds, 70, 80 or 100, at whatever the time, the values are going to be this only. It never change because it is not entering into the while loop. If it is entering into while loop, you can go with this hash 10, wait for 10 nanoseconds. Okay, so at any amount of time, the values are not changing. So this is what here written it is. Simulation of module TB reveals that the loop never entered. Okay. Next, if you have given the temp value as like this, now I said at least one of the bit is going to be 1. Now I made MSB is equal to 1. What is the value of count, loop count and temp register? Okay. Now this temp register is not equal to 0. Not equal to 0 means it is true. The condition is true. Okay, so for the temp register given value, the condition is becoming true, which makes first you have to wait for 10 nanoseconds. So after 10 nanoseconds, what you will get? If temp 0, that means first value, so this is 1x like this. So at this point temp 0, you are pointing about this value. If your pointing is, then temp 0, is it now true or false? Now this will become false because you are referring to x. So this won't execute. That means count will not execute. So this condition is false. And next it is coming into temp. Temp is shifted by 1. That means it is shifted by 1. Now you are looking at 0 is going to be added and you are going with this register. Now your temp register is this one. Next temp 0 means you are referring to the second bit. Look at this one very carefully. If has condition only one statement. That's why it is not having any begin or end. So this only one statement is related to if loop. Understand that one. So if this condition is true, this statement executes. Otherwise it come out of that if loop. That means next statement is temp reg. Temp register is always executes once you are entering into while loop. So next statement shifted by this one and loop count is going to be incremented by 1. So count is not incremented. So count is 0 only because initially it has 0, and loop counter is equal to incremented by 1. Next you are displaying those values. Temp register, okay, and these things. Temp register is now this one. 10 is going to be added. And now the temp register value is this much. This is again it is not equal to 0, so this will become true after 20 nanoseconds. After 20, this means already 10 is over. Now after 20, again temp 0 is x, so count will not be executed, but loop counter will become 2 and your register will be consisting of this one. Your temp register is shifted. So always zeros are going to be gets added. So loop count is executed 8 times and count is only incremented by 1 because at MSB you have given 1 that will be coming into LSB place after 7 cycles. At the 8th cycle, the 1 will be coming into LSB position where it is going to be checked. So this will be true only after 7 cycles. By that time count is going to be incremented. So after 80 nanoseconds you will get this value. Okay. So these are the values. Corresponding temp register, corresponding these things. So this is after 10 nanoseconds. First statement is after 10 nanoseconds. Second statement after 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90, 100 after it. What happens after 80? You will get these things and later your temp register will be always 0. It never executes. So the same thing is going to be continued. Same thing is continued for 90, 100, 110 and other things. Temp register is always 0. Okay. So at 50 you can specify the values. At 40 you can specify. At 10 you can specify. At 80 you can specify. At 90, 100, 150 all are equal to the same values as 80. Because after 80 while loop never enters. Control will never enter into the while loop. Here this is a simple program which is the advantage of packages. If you use packages, you need to go for the more number of declarations. So when you are not declaring for more number of times, then there will be syntax errors or typo errors are going to be reduced. If you are looking at the left side, here there is a module count, there is a module decode, module top. In every place you have declared a type definition. Okay, in every place you have declared a type definition. So if you are declaring it so many times, okay, by mistake one letter may not be printed, which gives some errors. Okay, and you may not remember all the values, you may give one more value or one less value. So instead of all these typo errors, okay, you can declare only once in the package and you are going to add that package. So simply using import statement you are going to add that package. So number of errors in typing gets reduced. Since you are dealing with only one statement, but such type of statements, let us assume you have one more function and that has to be used in every module. So that function may be consisting of 10 lines. So unnecessarily you are writing 10 lines in the count, 10 lines in the decode, 10 lines in the top along with this one. So instead of it, you can make that function in the package. So only once you are writing in the package and simply you are writing only one statement in every module, that is import. So due to this one, directly you can get the simplified code and there will be chances for the less errors. So at least typological errors are going to be reduced and the code will become simplified. You can easily able to understand. So the now code is going to be gets compact. So that by looking at the code you can able to understand, you know what's there in the package, so you can easily understand the code. That's the advantage. Find the value of CNT and 1 hot after 2, 12 and 17 clock cycles when reset is equal to 1 and repeat if reset is equal to 0. Look at the code carefully and try to find out the answer of CNT count and 1 heart. What are the values of CNT and 1 heart after 2 clock cycles, after 12 clock cycles, after 17 clock cycles? Okay, so first let us assume you are going with a count. This is count block. You can always able to draw a block diagram from the module. So let us assume this is a block where I am naming it as counts. And what are the inputs and outputs you must draw? So inputs are clock and reset. This is RST and it is clock. And the RST is active low or active high. Since it is not RST I am saying, so it is active low. So a bubble is present. Next, at outputs, what are the output? Numbers is the CNT is the output. So make it as CNT is outputs. Okay, CNT is of numbers type. What is numbers? Numbers is a special type definition of enumerated variable which can have only either 0, 1, 2, 3 states. So the numbers can have only 4 possible values, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So next, and the code for this one, what it is doing is this counter upon positive edge. Okay, if a reset is active, then count is equal to 0. if RST is equal to 0, then CNT is 0. Else, that means RST is not 0, then count is equal to next. So your count is equal to incremented. Okay, so count will be for first clock pulse, it will be going into 1, next clock pulse 2, next third clock pulse 3, next fourth clock pulse, again it is coming back to 0. Okay, next fifth clock pulse, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11, like this. Okay, so simply it is going in this way: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all happens when reset is not active. So it is continuing in this way. If it is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, every clock pulse, every clock edge, it is moving from one state to the other state. Now come to the decode. Decode is going to be one more block. For this decode, input is going to be numbers. Okay, and numbers of CNT is the input. So it has a CNT. Okay, it has a CNT. That CNT is coming from the counter, because it is specified in this. Count and decode are going to be called in a top module, where one will be input, the other will be outputs. Okay, for decode CNT is input, for clock CNT is output. So these two are going to be now input. Count is CNT is output of counter, whereas CNT is input for the decoder. Next, what is output for this one then? 1 heart. 1 heart is the output signal of decoder. Okay, it is having 4 values. So it is a 4-bit vector. 1 heart is a 4-bit vector. So it can hold 4 different values. Okay, this is 1 heart. Now, based on input value C and 2, we are going to get this value. If CNT is 0, okay, 1, 2, 3, even though I am specifying the numbers, but actually it has written with spelling. So if it is 0, you are going to get 0, 0, 0, 1. If it is 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. If it is 2, 0, 1, 0, 0. If it is 3, 0, 1, 0, 0. So this is what happening. If nothing is then by default it has the X. So now you say, if reset is equal to 1, okay, these two are going to be combined in a top module in this way. Now what can be the value of CNT and 1 heart after 2 cycles? If reset is 1, that means reset is not active. Not active means simply it starts from 0. Okay, it starts from 0 after first clock pulse. Okay, after first clock pulse, count will become CNT, count will become 1, and after second clock pulse, count will be 2. So the 2 is going to be input for over here. So this is the value. Your 1 heart is 0, 1, 0, 0. So after 2 nanoseconds, the count is equal to 2, and value of 1 heart is 0, 1, 0, 0. Similarly, after 12 cycles, okay, so this is second cycle, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cycles. After 12 cycles, you are again coming back to the 0 state. So CNT will be 0 after 12 cycles, and 1 heart will be equal to 0, 0, 0, 1. And after 17 clock cycles, this is 12, 13, 14, 15, okay, 16, 17. So you are at 1. So CNT is equal to 1 after 17 clock cycles, and whenever it is 1, your output is 0, 0, 1, 0 for 1 heart. So like this you can execute. You can say the values similarly. Otherwise, repeat the same if RST is equal to 0. If RST is equal to 0, always this will be executing. So whenever it is executing, CNT is always 0, and based on that 0, you will get only 0, 0, 0, 1. So your output is constant. CNT will be having 0, okay, and 1 heart is always equal to 0, 0, 0, 1. That's all. These two are having constant values even after 2 seconds or 12 nanoseconds or 17 nanoseconds. The values are fixed. Okay.